Well, look, if it were up to me, everyone in the world would learn CPR at some point in their life. But if you want to learn it right now during a pandemic, you might have some questions and concerns. But don't worry, we have help for you. Joining us now is Dr. Carl Kern, American Heart Association clinical volunteer and professor of medicine at University of Arizona Sarver Heart Center. And Doc, look, it is a skill everybody should have, but the American Heart Association just released its newest CPR recommendations. Give us an overview of the 2020 guidelines.
So the 2020 guidelines review the evidence-based recommendations for CPR and emergency cardiovascular care. We actually summarized the last 5 years worth of science, and some changes are in that new guideline, and frankly some old things that we re-emphasize that are really the basis and the very foundation for saving lives.
And this year has been a little different, but what are some of the biggest highlights or changes to the guidelines?
Well, we re-emphasize again the importance of bystander involvement for early chest compressions or CPR and early use of defibrillation with automatic external defibrillators. But new sections includes the recognition of healthcare disparities and how we need to reach out to some subpopulations who have historically not been able to provide as much CPR as others. Interestingly, women don't receive CPR as much if they collapse. And we need to correct that. There's a new section on opioid-related incidents and instructions for both lay people and medical providers how to best help those victims as well.
Well, and this year, I'm sure the question on everyone's mind, though, is it still safe to provide CPR during the pandemic?
Yeah, we would certainly emphasize that every second still counts. So it's important to call 911 right away, get help coming. And then if comfortable, we hope people will provide compression hands-only CPR. It's important to remember that most cardiac arrests happen out of the hospital, but rather than in public, they happen at home. So these are often people that you know and love. And we want people to understand that, yes, you should still consider doing CPR even in this pandemic.
Absolutely. All right, so what are some tips for recovery for cardiac arrest patients?
Well, it's become clear that rehab is just as important post-cardiac arrest as it is post-heart attack. And so taking from the success of cardiac rehab programs for heart attack victims, we've instituted new guidelines for the very same thing, where these victims and their family and caregivers need support both with physical rehab, but also emotional and mental support. It's really, it takes a while to recover from this. And people have lots of questions and fears and anxiety. All of that can be helped with a more formalized approach and efforts to indeed intervene.
This is literally life-saving information, Doc. So where can our viewers learn more about this and the new CPR guidelines?
Well, we put up a new website just today, eccguidelines.heart.org, and we would welcome everyone to take a look.
Please do, folks. Head to that website and check that out. And for watching this segment again, you can always go to our website and watch it again at firstcoastliving.net.